Millions of people are walking around right now with early signs of heart failure, and they have no idea. The body is whispering, sometimes shouting that something is wrong, but too often those signals are ignored, brushed off as just getting older or just being out of shape. The tragedy is that heart failure isn't one sudden event. It's not a single disease. It's the slow end result of years of smaller problems that chip away at the heart's strength. By the time most people are finally diagnosed, their heart has already lost much of its power. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be that way. Heart failure is not inevitable. If you know the early warning signs and if you understand the choices that either protect your heart or push it toward failure, you can take action long before it gives out. Hello, health champions. Today we're talking about the subtle and not so subtle signs of heart failure. By the end of this video, you'll know what to look for, why it happens, and the steps you can take right now to protect your heart. Pause for comment. Before we dive in, let me ask, have you or someone you love ever brushed off shortness of breath or swelling in the legs as just aging? Comment yes if that sounds familiar. Sign 1, shortness of breath. It often starts quietly. You notice that climbing stairs feels harder. Walking across the room leaves you more winded than it should. You tell yourself, I guess I'm just out of shape. I'm just getting old. And because you see others your age struggling too, it feels normal, but it's not normal. What might be happening is that your heart is weakening, especially the left side, which is the powerhouse chamber that pumps blood to the whole body. When the left side struggles, fluid starts to back up into the lungs instead of being filled with air. Your lungs start to fill with fluid. Imagine trying to breathe underwater. That's what it feels like. This is called pulmonary edema, and it makes oxygen exchange inefficient. The result? You get out of breath, even with light activity. And let me make something clear. This is very different from a heart attack. A heart attack is sudden. It's when a plaque ruptures and blocks blood flow, killing part of the heart muscle within minutes. Heart failure, on the other hand, is slow. It's a long decline, where the pump simply loses its ability to keep up over time. Sign 2, fatigue and weakness. When the heart can't pump enough blood, your tissues don't get the oxygen they need. And when cells don't get oxygen, they can't make energy. You're left with fatigue and weakness, sometimes even from very light activity. I had a patient. We'll call her Mary, 62 years old. She told me, I can't even fold laundry without sitting down. For years, she thought it was just part of aging. But the truth was her heart was struggling. Once she made changes to reduce the strain, her energy began to return. Pause for comment. Have you ever felt tired after doing something simple, like carrying groceries? Comment energy. If you've noticed this change. Sign 3, rapid or irregular heartbeat. Your body is smart. When the heart isn't moving enough oxygen-rich blood, it tries to compensate. How? By beating faster. At first, this makes sense. More beats should mean more blood. But there's a catch. If the heart is beating too fast, it doesn't have time to fill properly between beats. That means each beat pushes out less blood. Over time, this vicious cycle only makes things worse. This rapid or irregular heartbeat can show up early or mid-stage in heart failure. It's your body's desperate attempt to make up for lost efficiency. Sign 4, persistent coughing or wheezing, because fluid builds up in the lungs. Some of it can seep into the airways. That triggers a cough. Sometimes the cough is dry and nagging. Sometimes it's frothy, or even blood-tinged from irritation. People dismiss it as allergies or a lingering cold. But when a cough lingers and you notice shortness of breath with it, that could be your heart talking. Sign 5. Sudden weight gain. This one surprises people. Imagine stepping on the scale and seeing you've gained 3 or 4 pounds in just a few days without changing how you eat. That's not fat. That's fluid. Here's what happens when the heart doesn't pump strongly enough. The kidneys get less blood, and the kidneys can't tell the difference between the body is truly dehydrated and the pump is weak. All the kidneys know is, I'm not getting enough fluid. I better hold on to more salt and water. So your body retains fluid, and the scale jumps up. This kind of weight gain is a red flag, and it can show up surprisingly early. But most people don't notice until much later. Pause for comment. Have you ever noticed your weight swing up by several pounds in just a few days? Comment weight if you've experienced it. Up to this point, we've covered the first 5 signs of heart failure: shortness of breath, fatigue, rapid heartbeat, coughing, and sudden weight gain. These are the early signals your body sends. If you catch them, you have time to act. But the story doesn't stop there. In the next section, we'll talk about 5 more signs: swelling in the legs, nighttime urination, trouble lying flat, abdominal swelling, and the inability to handle stairs or light activity. These are the mid to late stage warnings, and they're often the ones people finally take seriously. Pause for comment. Which of these first 5 signs surprised you the most? Share in the comments. Your answer might help someone else realize what's happening in their own body. In the first part, we talked about the first 5 early signs of heart failure: shortness of breath, fatigue, rapid heartbeat, coughing, and sudden weight gain. These are your body's early whispers, but if they go unnoticed, the signals grow louder. Now let's explore 5 more warning signs that often show up in the mid to late stages of heart failure. These are the ones people finally notice, sometimes when it's already advanced. Sign 6. Swelling in the legs, ankles, and feet. You sit down at the end of the day, take off your socks, and notice deep marks around your ankles. Your shoes feel tighter, your feet look puffier. Many brush this off as just getting older or sitting too long. But swelling, also called edema, can be a sign that the right side of your heart is struggling. Here's why. When the left side of the heart fails, blood backs up into the lungs. But when the right side fails, blood backs up into the body, especially the lower body. Thanks to gravity, fluid leaks out into the tissues of your legs and feet, and they swell. This usually shows up mid to late in the process, because most of the time, the right side fails only after the left side has been struggling for a while. By then, the heart is under enormous strain. Pause for comment. Have you ever noticed your ankles swelling by evening, even if you didn't eat extra salt? Comment ankles if this hits home. Sign 7. Nocturia. Frequent urination at night. Picture this. During the day, your legs and feet are swollen with fluid. But when you lie down at night, gravity no longer pulls that fluid down. It flows back into circulation, increasing blood volume. Now your kidneys suddenly get more blood to filter, and you find yourself running to the bathroom several times a night. This isn't just an annoyance. It's another sign your heart isn't moving blood efficiently. Frequent nighttime urination, or nocturia, often shows up in the mid to later stages of heart failure. Sign 8. Orthopnea. Trouble breathing when lying flat. For some people, lying down feels like drowning. They stack up pillows or even sleep in a recliner, because breathing is easier when sitting upright. This happens because lying flat redistributes fluid toward the lungs, making it even harder to breathe. This is a red flag, not just snoring or a bad mattress. If you or someone you love can't sleep flat without gasping or coughing, it may be a sign of advanced heart failure. Sign 9. Trouble climbing stairs or doing light activity? Think about something simple: carrying groceries, vacuuming, climbing a single flight of stairs. If those tasks leave you completely drained, it's not just being out of shape. It's often because the heart's output is too low to fuel your muscles. At this stage, heart failure has cut into quality of life. Activities that used to be effortless now feel overwhelming, and sadly, many accept this as just aging. But weakness this severe is a call for help. Sign 10. Abdominal swelling. When the right side of the heart can't move blood effectively, pressure builds up in the abdominal organs. The liver and intestines swell, and fluid leaks into the belly cavity. A condition called ascites. The result: a bloated stomach that isn't from food, but from trapped fluid. Clothes feel tight, appetite decreases, and discomfort grows. This is usually a later sign, and by the time it shows up, the heart is struggling on multiple fronts. So now we've covered all 10 warning signs of heart failure, but symptoms are only one piece of the puzzle. To truly protect your heart, we need to look at the root causes, the things that silently chip away at heart strength over years. The top causes of heart failure: high blood pressure, hypertension, by far the biggest driver. Every day your heart has to push against higher pressure, especially the left ventricle. Over time, this constant overwork weakens the muscle. Heart attacks, myocardial infarction. When a heart attack kills part of the muscle, the pump loses power permanently. Insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, and obesity. These conditions don't just affect blood sugar. They inflame blood vessels, stiffen arteries, and strain the heart. In fact, diabetes and obesity are behind many cases of both high blood pressure and heart attacks. Smoking. Every cigarette injures the cardiovascular system, constricts vessels, and lowers oxygen. Over time, this accelerates the decline. Heart valve disease. Valves that leak or don't close properly make the heart pump less efficiently, forcing it to work harder. Toxins, alcohol, certain medications, and environmental toxins can damage the heart muscle. Sleep apnea and lung disease. Poor oxygen at night and high lung pressure make the heart's job harder. Pause for comment. Which of these causes surprises you most? Comment causes and share your guess. Was it high blood pressure, diabetes, or something else? Why prevention matters more than repair. Here's the hard truth. Once heart failure is advanced, it's very difficult to reverse. The body is amazing at healing, but a weakened pump rarely regains full strength. That's why prevention, catching these signs early, lowering risk factors, is so important. Think of it this way. You wouldn't wait for your car engine to blow up before changing the oil. You'd do maintenance along the way. Your heart deserves the same care. And the good news: the main causes: high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, smoking, stress, are all lifestyle related. That means you have more power than you realize. In the next part, we'll talk about practical solutions: how to eat better, move better, and feel better to protect your heart. These 3 pillars are simple, but they can make the difference between years of decline and decades of strong, steady heartbeats. Pause for comment. Before we move on, tell me, have you or someone you love experienced one of these late-stage signs, like swollen legs or trouble sleeping flat? Comment below. Your story could help others pay attention sooner. We've talked about the signs. We've uncovered the causes. Now let's talk about what you can actually do to protect your heart. Because here's the truth. Heart failure is not a life sentence. It's a warning. And if you pay attention, You can change the story before it's too late. I like to break this down into 3 pillars. Eat better, move better, feel better. Simple words, but powerful when you live them. Eat better. The first step is to remove what hurts the heart and replace it with what heals. Cut out sugar and processed foods. Sugar spikes insulin, fuels diabetes, raises blood pressure, and inflames blood vessels. Processed foods, especially those made with cheap seed oils, add even more strain. Imagine pouring sludge into a finely tuned engine. That's what these foods do to your circulation. Eat whole, fresh foods, focus on vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats like olive oil and avocados, and clean sources of meat or fish. The closer the food is to its natural state, the easier it is on your body. Support with key nutrients. If you don't eat fish regularly, supplement with fish oil for omega-3s. If your vitamin D is low, common in the winter, make sure you get enough. Because vitamin D supports heart muscle and blood pressure regulation. Watch inflammation. Many people don't realize that inflammation is a huge driver of heart problems. One marker called homocysteine can climb too high if your body struggles to process it, which is surprisingly common. The fix: B vitamins like folate and B12. This isn't about popping pills. It's about giving your body what it needs to reduce the silent fires of inflammation. Pause for comment. What's one food you know you should cut back on, but haven't yet? Comment below. Let's see if sugar, bread, or fried food wins. Move better. Your body was designed to move, not just at the gym 3 times a week, but all day, every day. Movement isn't optional. It's the very thing that keeps your circulation alive. Think of your muscles as pumps. Every step you take squeezes blood back toward your heart. Improving circulation, every stretch tells your nervous system we're alive and active. Without movement, your entire system slows down. Walk every day. You don't need a treadmill or a fancy membership. Put on a pair of shoes and walk around your block. Aim for several thousand steps a day, but don't get caught in the numbers. Just keep moving. Climb stairs. It's one of the best natural workouts for your heart. If stairs leave you breathless, don't avoid them. Use them as a gentle training tool. But listen to your limits. Do small things often. Park farther away. Carry your groceries instead of using a cart. Take the long way. These tiny movements add up more than you think. Pause for comment. Do you prefer walking, cycling, or gardening for daily movement? Comment with your favorite. Maybe you'll inspire someone else. Feel better. This pillar surprises people. They expect me to say diet and exercise, but your emotions matter just as much. Stress is gasoline on the fire of heart disease. It keeps cortisol high, blood pressure up, and your body in constant fight-or-flight mode. Most people live by default. They wait for good days to feel good and blame bad days for their stress. But what if you could flip that? What if you decided to be the driver of your emotions, not the passenger? Practice calm on purpose. Deep breathing, prayer, meditation, or simply sitting in silence can calm your nervous system. Choose gratitude. Even writing down 3 small things you're grateful for each day lowers stress hormones. Stay connected. Loneliness is as dangerous to the heart as smoking. Make time for friends, family, or community. Pause for comment. What's one thing you do that instantly makes you feel calmer? Share below. Someone else might need that tip tonight. Why lifestyle beats pills alone. Now, don't get me wrong. Modern medicine saves lives. If you need medication, take it. But pills can't fix everything. They can't undo years of poor sleep. Processed food, or unrelenting stress. Think of medication as a life jacket. It keeps you afloat, but it doesn't build the strength to swim. Lifestyle does, and when you combine the two, that's when real healing happens. A story of hope. Let me tell you about Tom, 67 years old. He had swelling in his ankles, shortness of breath, and couldn't make it up a flight of stairs without stopping. His doctor warned him he was heading toward full-blown heart failure. Instead of giving up, Tom made small changes. He cut out soda. He started walking 10 minutes a day, then 20. He added 1 serving of vegetables at each meal. He joined a men's group at his church for connection and stress relief. 6 months later, he lost 18 pounds of fluid and fat. His energy returned. He still had heart disease, but he had taken control. His quality of life improved, and his future looked brighter. That's the power of choosing to act. Final message, so let's bring it all together. Heart failure is not a single moment. It's the result of years of silent damage. The signs are there. Shortness of breath, fatigue, swelling, coughing, weight gain. The causes are clear: high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, smoking, stress. But so are the solutions. Eat better, move better, feel better. If you listen to your body early, you don't have to wait for tragedy. You can protect your heart, extend your years, and live those years with strength and joy. Because at the end of the day, it's not about avoiding death. It's about living fully. Every beat matters. Make them count. Final call to action. If this video helped you, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another life-saving message. And I want to hear from you. Which of the 10 warning signs have you seen in yourself or a loved one? Share your story in the comments. It could save someone's life.